Hey everybody! It is May the 4th, 2017, and I'm super excited. I posted yesterday my first Q&A video for EDS Awareness Month. Thank you so much to the ladies who asked me those questions and made that video possible. And I'm excited to say that I've already garnered enough questions to make another one, and it's only the 4th of May. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So today I'm going to go ahead and, drop some knowledge on y'all in the second Q&A session. And today's questions come from Lori. Thank you so much, Lori, for your questions. I hope this video will help you get the answers that you're looking for. It looks like I've got some stuff. It's on actually two different types. I've got questions in both little areas. So we're just going to start at the very beginning. She's asking about the ICD10 codes that are used with medical billing and such like that. She asked, first off, what are some commonly used ICD10 codes that are used with EDS? So I had to do some research on this one because I'm not a coder. I was a medical transcriptionist, and then I worked in a lab. I drew blood and, ran tests and stuff like that. So medical coding has kind of like been lost on me. I've seen it on my paperwork and on paperwork of others that they've shared, looking for some info and, how do I read this and stuff like that. But it's never been my forte, so I had to do a little bit of research today. And it looks like the common code for EDS is Q79.6. And that's it. Like, literally, that is Ehlers Danlos syndrome. And I tried looking it up for, vascular. Our big three that, are the big three subsets. There's more than that, but the big three are the vascular, the classical, and the hypermobility. And I tried finding anything possible with what are specific codes just for that, and I'm not seeing it. So I'm kind of thinking along the lines that it's kind of like how POTS was for the longest time. When you would go be diagnosed with POTS, you wouldn't have a diagnostic code for POTS. There wasn't one until ICD10, and ICD10 only really came around until I think last year, really. With ICD9, which was the previous version, I know it was a lot of breaking out by symptom. Like, okay, yes, you have POTS, but what are symptoms of POTS? Symptoms of POTS are orthostatic hypovolemia, tachycardia, unspecified tachycardia, super sinus tachycardia, a random bunch of things. So instead of saying POTS on your paperwork, you would have this list a mile long of different things that you deal with in regards to your POTS. So I'm kind of wondering if it's the same way with EDS, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe there's a coder out there who has access to more information than I do, and they know where to look, because I'm lost. So I do know. So like I said, I think if it's broken out like POTS used to be broken out, like chronic pain that I could find was like a G89.29. And if you have vascular EDS, your aorta is extremely friable and there's risk of rupture. That one's like I71.00. Again, I'm not sure if those are even correct. I just did the best I could to find on the internet. Coding is not my specialty. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking since there's just one basic EDS diagnosis code, maybe the other issues that make it into more of a subset type thing are broken out by your conditions and the things that you deal with in regards to that. So hopefully that answers that first question. Second question is, have the changes in the ICD-10 codes from 9 to 10 helped me? I really think having the code and having it in black and white is very important. It was for me, at least. For me, it was validation. It was I can look at a piece of paper and go, it is real. Because so many of us go through so many doctors, and we're told we're not. We're told we're crazy. We're told it's not real. It can't be real. You're imagining things. That's my favorite one. It's all in your head when it's not. And when you get that validation from that one doctor who goes, I believe you, and I'm going to research and find what's wrong with you. It's an amazing thing. Sorry. The computer's going off at the same time over here. And mentally, I needed that. I needed to see it. I needed to know that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't making it up, that my body truly was going into this dysfunction, and this is why. You know, and the codes are, I mean, they're used for so much more than just medicine, really. They are used for if you're applying for disability benefits. If you, I mean, you have to show why you can't work or why you can't do this or that and everything. Well, now you have proof because I'm at risk for this, or I'm dealing with this, and you know, it's really handy. Now, having the codes where I've seen them and everything, it's really helped me get to where I am today. Just basically on the mental fact of it's not made up, it's real. So some people might see the codes as a different thing. I know it was really hard for me to see the codes and then see the word disabled next to it. But, you know, it's been a very long, 3.5 going on 4 years of stuff like that and fighting for benefits and things like that. And I don't know, I think now I'm beginning to be okay. Do I wish there were specific codes for things? Like ruling into the subsets? I kind of do. Just because so many people, I mean, yes, hypermobility EDS is the most common that is diagnosed, it seems, but the others are just as dangerous. I mean, it can be very dangerous and it's very hard to deal with. And I think if you have VEDS, which is the vascular kind, you really need to be able to have that written out, because then it provides a little bit of a safety net. You can go back and you can be like, I can't do this because look at this. This is why. I've got an increased organ rupture or things like that. I need to be able to keep myself safe. So I wish there were, but as long as your doctor is really thorough, I think it's manageable. I'm lucky my doctors are very thorough. It seems kind of crazy when I look at my diagnosis code paper when I go to the doctor and stuff like that. It's like a mile long, but it lists every single thing that I'm going through, and I have that verification for whenever I have to go and see a specialist or anything like that. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And I know researching the coding and stuff like that was really cool today. So, but I am going to ask if you're an viewer out there and you're going to see this and you're like, oh no, that's the wrong code, please correct me. Shoot me a message, leave a reply of the video. Just, you can find me on Facebook. I go over that link stuff in the the end of the video, and let us know. Give us some information. We're all open to learning. So, okay, the second set of questions. What are the effects that EDS have on the dental and oral health of the patient? And what about sensitivity to pain? And I'm going to do the sensitivity to pain with, in regards to your oral health and your body. And I'm going to cover that one at the end. So first off, let me cover the oral and dental health thing. Quick recap for any of those who may have missed it in the first video. EDS is a collagen defect down at the molecular level. Collagen's in like 95-96% of your body. And, the oral and dental health area is no loser to that. It's part of that big O number. And with our collagen and the way that it's damaged, it affects how we heal. So common things that we have to deal with are chronic dislocating or subluxating jaw. Sometimes you hear things called TMJ. I honestly cannot say the long word that goes for that, but everyone knows the words TMJ, or letters TMJ. So if you're like talking, you probably can't hear it. My microphone's not that great. But like my jaw, I can feel it sliding and it's popping and clicking. And it can actually get offset, off balance. So when I try to really open my mouth wide, it's like, and I've actually had it stuck open before, and I've had a dentist actually dislocate my jaw. He was doing my wisdom teeth, and it was a big nightmare. So, note to self, don't ever have your jaw dislocated. Note to y'all, please don't have your jaw dislocated. So, other things we deal with in our oral history and our health are excessive bleeding, and very fragile gums. You just brush too hard even, and they can bleed and bleed and bleed. With me, if I eat something sharp or crispy, it shreds them, and I can feel like little fibers. It's really weird. But then that takes a while for it to heal, and that prevents me from wearing my dentures and stuff like that. I'll go into that little history in a little minute. Our teeth move. So, you know how you go through and you get braces and, okay, this is where your teeth are supposed to be. And I know people are supposed to wear like retainers or spacers or whatever, you know, with that. I never had to go through that because when my teeth moved so much, my teeth were crossed in random places, or they were all the way over. And it was so funny because, like, once I got my adult teeth, they were like, oh, no, they shouldn't move anymore. I had a big old gap between my front teeth. And then it, like, literally was closing over itself, like, in a number of, like, 4 or 5 years. My teeth were still moving. And then until I had the moment where I had them all pulled, they were still doing it and stuff like that. We have an increased risk of periodontal disease, like gingivitis and inflammations and stuff like that, and infections. And this is a really biggie. And this goes with the next question too. My cat's gonna jump up here. Come on. Come on. There you go. Say hi to Tinkerbell, everybody. Come here. Hi. You gonna sing up here with Mommy do her video? She's like, no. She really likes the tripod, so really, baby, come on, go. There you go. A big thing that really makes oral health very difficult is the fact that we don't really numb. We're not very receptive to the shots and the oral anesthetics that are used. I remember knowing my mom, she had to have some work done one time, and they gave her, you know, like 5 times the amount of Novocaine and things like that, trying to get her to numb, and she still felt everything. And that is exactly echoed in my history when I went to go have my wisdom teeth taken out. And everyone's like, you know, they didn't put you out for that. They didn't put you, like, sedate you. No, they didn't do any of that with me. I was quite wide awake. And the fact that I felt everything made it even worse. Yeah, the fact that you don't know, I mean, you imagine going to the dentist and it hurting every time. Even when they do cleaning, it was like somebody was taking a red hot poker and just stabbing and scraping and pulling. And so on top of the fact that your mouth is, you know, cracked wide open because they have to get in there and work with all that stuff, it just feels like your mouth is filling with fire. And I sat there and cried through numerous cleanings to the point I really just gave up. Nobody believed me that I was still feeling everything, and they wouldn't make me comfortable enough that they could get any work done. And when they did try to numb me, it's like the numbing didn't stay where it was supposed to. Like, I would numb down here when I was supposed to be numb back here, you know, things like that. It was really kind of weird. It's just the way our bodies, I guess, are wired. So, you know, I'll just go into what my history is, because these are dentures. These are fake. I've said it before. I have no problem saying it now. And with my oral history, I really stopped seeing the dentist after the wisdom teeth thing. I went for a couple cleanings afterwards, and I will not lie to you, I was drunk. I made sure that I got drunk before I went to the dentist, in any sort of way to try and numb it, to make it to where I didn't care that I felt everything, you know, I was okay. And even then I couldn't keep up with it. So my teeth essentially crumbled. Our teeth are so fragile already from the EDS, because yep, there's collagen and all that too. And when my doctor came to me and he's like, you know, we want to try and do this, and this on you, but you need to have your teeth taken care of. I had been thinking for a while to have them all pulled anyways, but financially there just wasn't money set aside for that. Cat's doing something in the window. You know, it was a big relief, and I was lucky. I went through a local dental school, so I had students learning on me, but it was really good because you don't really see somebody with EDS sometimes, and I think it was a very good educational moment for them and for me. I was able to really teach them, what exactly we feel. And I know the lady who dealt with me primarily in making my dentures and stuff like that, I used to get her so frustrated because she would be like, we got so far and now we have to go back again, back one step because of something, different changed. But I had all of my teeth pulled in February 2015. And that was about a month after I got my EDS diagnosis. And because I am such a fragile state with my heart and with everything else, and the fact that I don't numb, they didn't want to try even doing sedation in the office, because if something went crazy with my heart, they didn't feel like they were adequately prepared for it. So I was admitted to the hospital, and they were done in the main OR with an oral surgeon and lots of good drugs. I'll just put it that way. They did really amazing. They did their best they could. I still felt it when I got done and woke up and kind of went about my day. But I can just imagine if I didn't do it that way, of how bad it would have been. It would have been so bad. So that began all that. They were able to go in there and they did all the extractions. I think I had 26 at the time. And they were able to kind of like refile my bone structure down, and they stitched all this stuff. Now, stitches with us take a while to heal too, especially in such tender flesh of your gums and stuff. And I ended up having to go back in a few months later and having some stuff redone to make sure. I didn't get to start getting fitted for my dentures until really the beginning of 2016. We tried a couple times, and it's like we, again, one step forward, two steps back. So we, I'm so glad they were so patient with me and they went through it, and I did too. Now, there are times I had said, if I'd known how much it was going to hurt and it was a pain in the butt and the way that things are now, I wouldn't have done it. But I do have a pretty good smile from it. I'm kind of proud of it. At least it was worth all the effort. I got to bring my dentures home in September of 2016. So from February 2015 to September 2016, that's a pretty big gap. Now, most people, when they do this, the procedure time is like 6 months or so. Mine was over a year. And but it was worth it, I think. It was really good. But there's with all this stuff, like now though, I had to be really careful with what I do with them. Again, because my tissue still gets really irritated very easily. So the fitting process is what took so long, and why I didn't bring them home for the longest time. And even now, if I eat like chips or something like that that's a little bit more abrasive than normal, I can't wear my dentures the next day. I have to be really careful with that. Or I can only wear them for short periods of time. That's not really a typical thing. I think that's honestly just a personal thing. We all manage things differently. So we had that. Now, I came across some really cool information dealing with, periodontal disease and stuff like that with EDS. And there's actually an EDS classification called Periodontal EDS. And right now, the classifications and diagnostic criteria have been completely overhauled. And since this is one of the minor ones, they haven't really gotten too much information up on the foundation website. There's something called the Ehlers Danlos Society. And that's it's this big consortium for people with EDS, doctors, people who deal with us, caretakers. It's got information. It's got, symposiums that they host, so we can get knowledge out there for ourselves and for the medical community. And they're really great people. But I know with the diagnostic criteria changing, they are very busy. So it's kind of taken a while. But I was really kind of excited to see that some of the criteria for it I actually met. So it's ooh, that's, kind of interesting. I wish I had known about that before I had all this done and stuff like that. But, knowledge is knowledge. It doesn't matter when it comes. So now, as for sensitivity to pain all over, I know if you just barely touch me, I feel it, and sometimes it feels like glass. It hurts. It hurts so bad. I'm not sure if that's just a me thing or if it's a common EDS thing. I think it's a common EDS thing, but we have other symptoms that kind of overrule it. like joint pain, dislocations, blah, 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 you know. But I know, like I said, you know, when they did the injections, you know, into my gums to work on my teeth or whatever, you know, and numbing, I felt everything. It never worked. It's the same thing with other parts of my body. I have a port, and like I felt most of what they did when they were inserting them and taking them out. I had PICC lines in both of my arms at one point, and they numb you because they use a scalpel to cut your skin and get to your vein. And I felt all that. I was numb for maybe 3 minutes after the end of it, and then was like, fire again. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But again, we also have other things that kind of like overrule it, you know, that, like I said, dislocations, joint pain, etc., etc. So I don't really give much thought to it, but you know, it's really interesting. You change how you have to manage things when you're that sensitive. I know with me, like I said, I got drunk before I went to the dentist for a long time, just trying to manage it, and I couldn't. With my sensitivity to like touch and stuff like that, I wear a lot of LuLaRoe. And no, please don't add me to any more LuLaRoe groups. I am on so many already, and they're all so tempting. But I love their I love their clothes because they are very, very soft, and I can tolerate them on days where I can't tolerate, you know, wearing other clothes and t-shirts and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's very interesting. And again, this is just how I deal with things and things that affect me. If you have information about how you're dealing with stuff and things like that, please, please, please shoot me a message. Leave a reply. Let's just educate everybody and kind of go from there. You know, let's take the world by storm. It is EDS Awareness Month, you know. I'd say here's roar, but that's a lion, not a zebra. So, but those are our questions. Again, a huge thank you to Lori. I am so glad I was able to answer these for you. Hopefully they're answered adequately enough. If not, let me know what else you want to hear and see, and I'll do my best to oblige. So, again, I'm doing this in conjunction with my Facebook blog page, The Life of Rebecca. You'll see the link here in a minute. And, you know, I'm so excited. Again, this EDS Awareness Month. Who wouldn't be excited? I am so excited to be able to share my knowledge with y'all. And, you know, it's been a lot of fun. I got so excited when I saw that I could do another video so soon. So I hope we can keep that momentum. So, well, that is it for today. And as I always say, I love ya. Stay out of trouble. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Send me your questions. Let's get these answered. Bye.